Alright, so here we're going to take a look at the apple and banana example from the notes. We're going to look at using protocols. Alright, so the real power of a protocol is the ability to treat similar objects generically. And in this example, we define an apple and a banana, but they share a common set of methods as defined by the Edible protocol. So later we can write code that knows how to handle an edible food and doesn't know, or care for that matter, whether it happens to be an apple or a banana. So this is a powerful concept that allows us to treat different object types similarly. So let's get started. We're going to have this master class here. Okay. So I create a new H&M file, and I'm going to define a class called a master class in my interface here in the header file. It'll just inherit from NSObject, so this will be just a plain Jane type class. So if we go over to the M file, well, actually, you know what we do want to include here? We're going to include a instance method called runDemo. And this is what we're going to launch. All right. So if we come over here, we're going to make sure that we import over our master class.h. Here's our implementation. All right, here's the entire implementation. And we're going to create a little method here. You can just copy and paste it out. Select this, copy, come back over, and paste it right there, and give a couple of curly braces there. Okay. Now that we've got the basic plumbing in place, we're going to come over to our main file, and then from there we will set up our master class and run the demo. All right, so let's do that next. And so what we want to do when we come over to the main file, we want to make sure that we import our master class here. There it is. Okay. And all we will do is we'll just create an instance of that. Master class, whatever we want to call it. I'll call it master, and we'll allocate that. Now we have that, and what we'll do is we'll run the demo. There we go. Alright, that's all we need to do over here in our main file. So before we go any further, well, let's head over to our protocol definitions. So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to create another new H file. Okay, and I called it protocol definitions, but you can call it anything you want. And this protocol specifies that if an object wants to call itself edible, that is, if it wants to conform to the edible protocol, then we want it to require two different methods, a getFlavor method and a getCalories method. So let's define that protocol. We'll do that with the @protocol keyword. Okay, and we said we're going to call it edible protocol. So we want to put some required methods. We'll use the @required keyword here, and we're going to list these two methods out. So the first one's going to be getFlavor, and we want that to return a string pointer, no argument, right? And then the next one is going to be getCalories, and so we probably want that to return an int. And then that's it. End. That's the end of our protocol. So creating the protocol is really as simple as that. So then the next thing we want to do is let's go ahead and make our apples and our bananas. You'll create a new class. So a header file and an implementation file, and we'll start in the header file. We need to make sure that we, of course, import foundation.h, but we also need to import our protocol definition. Okay, that was the header file we just made. So make sure you import protocol definitions.h. And what this says is that I, as an apple, do hereby solemnly swear that I'm edible. Okay, so let's do that here. Let's start the implementation. Whoops, start the interface, right? And so we're going to call this class apple. It's going to inherit from an NS object, and it is going to conform to an edible protocol, just like that. And we don't need anything else in our header file for this, for the purpose of this demonstration. Okay. So next we can go over to the M file. We need to, of course, make sure that we import our apple.h, and we also need to make sure that we import our protocol definitions. Okay, and here we will define our implementation of apple. Great. I'll just go ahead and pop an end down here. So inside our implementation, there's nothing in the header, right? So what can we do? We need to, or what can we do? We can override either methods or properties that are defined by NSObject, since that's what Apple inherits from, or we can override and define methods that are required by our protocol. In fact, right here, Xcode's trying to tell me Apple does not conform to protocol, edible protocol. Add stubs from, so we can fix this. That's actually kind of convenient. Boom. That's nice. So it's already telling us we need to get calories and get flavor. So let's fill these out. So for calories, let's say an apple has 300 calories. And for the flavor, let's say this is Granny Smith flavored. Whoops, probably wants me to. So let's go do the same thing for banana. All right. So pop on over to banana.h, and we need to make sure that we import, of course, our protocol definitions. All right. And then we'll just define the interface for a banana, and it's going to inherit from an NS object, and it will conform to an edible protocol. And that's it. That's all we need. Pop on over to banana.m. We need to import banana.h. Let's define the implementation. And then hopefully it'll complain and give us that little shortcut. So we'll, oh, banana. There we go. No warnings yet. Maybe I need to include protocol definitions. Edible protocol. Subject edible protocol. Oh, did I spell something wrong? Protocol definitions.h. Protocol definitions.h. There we go. My fault. So I should recognize this as a protocol. There we go. Come over here. You should hopefully see that this is not. There we go. Does not conform. Let's fix. Alright, banana. Banana, maybe fewer calories. We'll return 200. And then return plantain flavored. Alright. Whoops, forgot my little at. Is it happy? Alright, it's happy. So next step is we'll head on over back to our master class and start interacting with banana and apple. But actually, before we do anything, let's go to the masterclass.h and include all of this stuff so masterclass is aware. So import protocol definitions, import apple, and import bananas. Alright, save that. So over at our masterclass.m, first we create an apple and a banana, both of which we know are going to be edible. So let's do that. Let's create a banana. So this is a banana type. I'll call it a banana. Banana equals, we'll do an alloc init. Okay, there's our banana. And let's make an apple. Alloc init. But actually, let's change something. Instead of making this an apple class, let's make this a generic piece of food, okay? So we're going to say ID, which is a keyword that's just like void, edible, okay, it conforms to an edible protocol, and we'll just call this food, because we don't know what type of food it is yet, do we? But before we move on and start dealing with banana and food, let's make a new function down here. It'll be no return. Tell me about food. That's going to be the selector. Now the argument is going to be any type of food as long as it conforms to the edible protocol. Okay, so say tell me about food, ID, edible protocol. So that's our type, a generic edible food type. Okay, and inside here, you know, we don't know, I don't know what kind of food this is, but I know it conforms to edible protocol. So it has the methods get flavor and get calories. We know that for a fact. So let's log those out. I'll do an nslog. This piece of edible food is, it's going to be for our string, the flavor, tasting, and contains, we'll do that for our int, number of calories. Alright, so this formatted string requires 2 inputs. So whatever we get, we're going to do a little message here. What are we going to message? We're going to message our food, right? This is the argument. It's the unknown type of class, but we know it conforms to edible protocol. And we're going to call get flavor, and that's going to return an ns string. And we'll make a similar call, food get calories, which will return an int. Okay. So let's use this piece of information. Let's say we're going to do a static, right? What are called class methods on the current class that we're in, master class. Okay, so we'll make a call to self. Tell me about food. And as long as we pass in any type of class that conforms to edible protocol, it doesn't care. It doesn't have to be a banana, it doesn't have to be an apple, it can be any type of edible food. So in this case, let's pass in banana. And let's see if this runs. Okay, take a look down in the console here. This piece of edible food is plantain flavored, tasting, and contains 200 calories. Great, so we passed in a banana, right? We could also do this to the generic food as well. Tell me about food. Generic food, right? We know it's an apple, but it really could have been anything. Now it says this piece of edible food is Granny Smith flavored and contains 300 calories. So we can also easily point food to the banana instead. And that's still valid since a banana is a piece of edible food. That is, it conforms to the edible protocol. So we can say food equals banana, right? Food can be any edible piece of food of which banana conforms to. So this assignment is entirely legal, which is pretty neat. So tell me again about food. And so the third line should be plantain flavored with 200 calories. So there's our example of apples and bananas. You can go ahead and look at the third video. It's the delegate demo simple in your Git repo, and we'll look at the example with the car and the customer and the gas station attendant.